Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Transfermarkt TV International. Some interesting rumors and some astonishing statistics headline our show as we first take a look at the encounter of Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund, the clash of the Titans in the Bundesliga last weekend. Once again, key to victory with 2 goals. Robert Lewandowski, probably at the moment the world's best central striker. The Polish international recorded goals number 15 and 16 in just 11 season games for Bayern in the Bundesliga. By doing so, he surpassed a record for the ages set by German all-time leading scorer Gerd Müller, who just had 15 goals in the first 11 matches of the season 1968-1969. Lewandowski has also scored in every of the first 11 season games so far. Very impressive. He also has 6 goals in 4 Champions League outings, making him a very strong player this season. A different milestone in Bayer's 4-0 statement was for former German international Thomas Müller. The 30-year-old, now under new Bayern coach Flick, once again a regular starter, had 2 assists for the German champions. Thereby his count in this category reached 101 in the Bundesliga. Müller is the first player in the 21st century to reach the century mark. And once again, Bayern goalkeeper Manuel Neuer recorded his 250th Bundesliga victory by defeating Dortmund. This feat occurs with a special note for the 33-year-old 4-time world best goalie. Neuer was born in Gelsenkirchen and is a lifetime supporter of Schalke 04, who is arch-rival with Borussia Dortmund, the team Bayern defeated last weekend for the 250th win for Neuer. In Premier League action, the 2-0 victory against Crystal Palace was a special one for Chelsea manager Frank Lampard. The 41-year-old former Three-Lion captain became the first coach with English nationality since Alan Pardew in 2012 to win 6 Premier League matches in a row. Pardew achieved that feat with Newcastle United back in 2012. Lampard set another benchmark for Chelsea's club history. He fielded a starting team that had an average age of just 24 years and 88 days, making it the youngest blue squad that ever started a game in Chelsea's Premier League history. Manuel Neuer is also part of our first topic today in our rumor mill. Some astonishing rumors this week. We start with Arsenal and Bernd Leno, who is considered the successor for Bayern Munich's German national team number 1 Manuel Neuer. Leno, at the age of 27, is 6 years younger than Neuer and has a decent season with Arsenal, where he conceded 17 goals in 12 Premier League matches. A Bayern interest in the former Leverkusen goalie would be rather surprising, since many sources still consider 23-year-old Schalke goalkeeper Alexander Nübel Munich's best bet, since his contract runs out in next summer. More likely leaving Arsenal is Switzerland international Granit Xhaka. The 27-year-old former team captain has been left out of the Ghana squad after an incident where he showed obscene gestures towards his own fans following his substitution in a game versus Crystal Palace. As the radio station RSI in Switzerland now reports, Xhaka is already checking options for opportunities for apartments in Milano. AC Milan might be the club he's heading to. Tottenham Hotspur is linked to a former Manchester United hopeful. According to The Mirror, left-wing Memphis Depay might be heading back to Britain. The Dutch left wing impresses with performances with French Champions League side Olympique Lyonnais. 7 League One and 4 Champions League goals aroused the interest of Mauricio Pochettino. Even though in his 18-month at Old Trafford, Depay never really quite convinced his critics. The 25-year-old has a market value of 45 million euros. His contract with Olympique runs until June 21. And also, The Mirror heard astonishing rumors that David De Gea still is on a wish list for Real Madrid. Manchester United's goalkeeper, the best paid player in a Premier League after signing his last contract extension in September, is considered favourite to replace still controversial Thibaut Courtois between the posts for Real. A possible successor for De Gea, according to the Mirror, should be Andre Onana, now goalie for Ajax Amsterdam. A transfer fee for the 23-year-old Cameroonian, whose contract with the Dutch champion runs into summer 2022, is installed at 58 million euros. Also interesting for Manchester United, the return of former player and now Crystal Palace right wing Wilfried Zaha. After a summer bid for the 27-year-old Ivorian striker fell short, the Sun heard rumours that the Red Devils are willing to pay 18 million euros next summer to convince Crystal Palace to let go of Zaha. Not coming back to Manchester United very likely is Chris Smalling. The former English international central defender has convincing performances thus far on his season-long loan stint with Serie A side AS Rome. As Italian newspaper Corriere dello Sport heard it, Roma wants Smalling on a permanent deal and is willing to pay 15 million euros for the 29-year-old. The Red Devils reportedly want 18 million for Smalling, whose contract at Old Trafford runs until 2022. N'Golo Kante, who stands at a market value of 100 million euros, neglected thoughts of a transfer away from his club Chelsea. In the TV show Telefoot, the 28-year-old French World Cup champion stated that he is happy with the Blues and even would like to end his career at Stamford Bridge. This season so far has been difficult for the defensive midfielder due to injuries. Liverpool are considering a swap deal for Ryan Fraser. The Reds, according to Wales Online, would like to add the 25-year-old Scottish left wing to their roster in winter. In return, Fraser's actual club, AFC Bournemouth, will get Welsh international right wing Harry Wilson, who already plays for the Cherries on a loan deal this season. Wilson, whose contract with the Reds runs until 2023, has a strong season for Bournemouth, scoring 4 times in 11 league matches. As we heard, Crystal Palace might lose Wilfried Zaha next summer to Manchester United. The big transfer income might be spent in parts on a new central striker. Wout Weghorst, as Mundo Deportivo reports, is a target for Palace. The 27-year-old Dutch striker has impressed with German side VfL Wolfsburg last season and so far in 1920, with again 6 goals and 3 assists in 15 competitive Bundesliga and Europa League matches. His market value stands at 25 million euros. Weghorst has working papers with the Wolves dating until June 23. Bundesliga side Dortmund is interested in signing yet another English wonder kid. According to Football Insider, Borussia is eyeing a winter transfer of Everton's under-23 offensive midfielder Anthony Gordon. The 18-year-old English under-19 international just recently extended his contract with the Toffees until 2023. Gordon could join England standout Jadon Sancho to Dortmund, who was transferred in August 2017 from Manchester's junior team to Borussia. Almost every European heavyweight team is interested in Champions League's top goal scorer Erling Haaland of Red Bull Salzburg. The 19-year-old Norwegian, with 7 goals in Europe's elite class so far, is eyeing a transfer into the Premier League sometimes in the future, as his father, former Man City, Leeds and Nottingham midfielder Alf Inge Haaland said. But due to the developing chances seen with Naby Keita, now with Liverpool, German side RB Leipzig might have the best chance to sign the 17th player in history from sister club Salzburg. Haaland's market value, by the way, will rise to 30 million euros this week. And finally, the Telegraph reports that Celtic are considering the signing of German under-21 international Niklas Dorsch. The 21-year-old defensive midfielder showed impressive performances with second Bundesliga side Heidenheim this season. The former Bayern Academy and several-time senior team player has a market value of 4 million euros. As we heard earlier in the show, Robert Lewandowski is having an outstanding season with Bayern Munich. You can see that following the statistics of Europe's most successful goal scorers as we count down the top 5. At position number 5, we have Erling Haaland from RB Salzburg. He has 22.5 points with 15 goals. His factor for the Austrian league is 1.5. At 4, Ilya Shkukurin from Energetic BGU Minsk from Belarus. He has 17 goals. His factor is 1.5. Ciro Immobile, strong season in the Serie A for Lazio for the 29-year-old Italian. He scored 14 goals, factor 2 makes 28. And Erik Sorga, he plays for Estonian side Flora Tallinn, 29 goals, factor 1 makes 29 points. And this is the leader for the golden shoe so far. Robert Lewandowski, the 31-year-old, with 32 points, 16 goals. The coefficient factor is 2, as you can see here on the top 5 as we count them down. In the news, we start with a dispute that had consequences for England's national team. Raheem Sterling will not be part of the three-line squad Thursday against Montenegro in the Euro qualifiers. The 24-year-old Manchester City star had a clash with Liverpool player Joe Gomez in the team hotel. As Sterling admitted, emotions got the better of me. Following the Citizens' 1-3 defeat and an on-field argument with Gomez at Liverpool last Sunday. National team coach Gareth Southgate dropped Sterling as a result of a disturbance in a private team area. The dispute between Sterling and Gomez has since been settled amicably. Again, England uncapped goalkeeper Dean Henderson has been called into the three-line squad due to an injury of Aston Villa's goalie Tom Heaton. Sheffield United's number 1 was called up following good performances in the Premier League. The 22-year-old lone player for Manchester United's under-23 team has 5 clean sheets and only 9 goals against him for the newly promoted Blades. Despite some strong criticism, video assistant referee chief and former Premier League referee Neil Swarbrick marks the new controlling system 7 out of 10 points. There was again some controversy last weekend in Premier League action with 2 possible handball penalties at Liverpool and a marginal offside call affecting the Blades at the Spurs. Swarbrick asks the fans to be patient. The 49-year-old already sees improvement for the game that will be further developed. We have more correct decisions with VAR than without it. And he hopes to improve the scale from 7 to 9 in at least 2 years. Michael O'Neill is new manager of struggling championship side Stoke City. The acting Northern Ireland national team coach additionally takes over for sacked Nathan Jones, who failed to point the Potters back in the direction of the Premier League. O'Neill will resume his duties for Northern Ireland until summer 2020, with a possible second consecutive trip to the Euro in June next year. After the date, he will be solely manager for Stoke. And that's it for this week's densely packed edition of Transfermarkt TV International. Enjoy the upcoming Euro qualifiers, and I hope to see you here next week. Have a good one. Bye-bye.